This is how many view God's actions in Old Testament times when he therapeutically did use power. But he never uses power to coerce. He never uses power to force hearts and minds. He uses power to restrain and to heal.
But don't you think it's the word, the use of the word, I'm coming to punish you, I'm going to take them and use them as my weapon against you, and I'm bringing this group against you. The way the Old Testament's working.
Yes, because people misunderstand reality. How many of you parents have ever had a rule for your children not to play in the street when they were small? Did you ever have a rule like that? How about if you lived in a busy city with a busy street? My grandmother, when I was growing up, she lived on the main street of a city, and her house was one of those houses that had, you came out, you stepped off the front porch, immediately onto a sidewalk, and there was only the width of the sidewalk, and then there was the curb of the traffic. And it was a heavy, heavy trafficked street. There was a rule for us not to play in the street. And if your child were to play in the street, what would a loving parent do, assuming the child played and had not yet been hit by a car? Would the parent intervene with some type of threat? Would they? Would the parent step in and inflict upon the child something the child experiences as perhaps painful? Would they? Would they do that? And if we talk to the child, Linda, and said to the child, why is it wrong to play in the street? The child very likely will say, because mommy and daddy has a rule. Well, if you disobey the rule, what makes it wrong? What's bad about disobeying the rule? What might the child say? Mommy and daddy will punish me. Okay? Now, is this in reality why it's bad to play in the street? No. So notice the love of the parent. The love, and this is the Old Testament. The parent loves the child so much that the parent is willing to step in between the child and the reality and allow for a period of time for the child to view the parent as the source of pain and suffering. In order to protect the child from the real harm that comes from breaking design law, the laws of physics, when their body gets hit by the car. Long enough for the child to grow up into maturity, read Hebrews 5 and 6, and when the child, all of us, have grown up into maturity, do we all look back and go, thank you, Mom and Dad, for the rule, for the spanking that you gave me, because had you not, I would have likely been killed by a car playing in the street. That is what God is waiting for his mature people to read the Old Testament and understand that these people were running toward a cliff of idolatrous destruction of their characters and minds. They didn't understand it destroys you to worship false gods. And so God stepped in between them and that destructive reality, took upon his shoulders the willingness to allow himself to be viewed as the source of pain and suffering, even though he was not. That's how I read it. But many children still don't understand. And that's why we're called to grow up. Monday's lesson